Madeleine McCann and x27's parents offered £430k to Maddie suspect if he and x27 told T. News Corp is a network of leading companies in the worlds of diversified media, news, education, and information services. Spanish investigators Madeleine 3 were hired by the family after 3-year-old Maddie vanished from a holiday apartment in Portugal's Praia da Luz in May 2007. Kate and Gary McCann and x27's private detectives offered to pay a man quizzed by cops over Maddie and x27's disappearance £430,000 to tell all, it has emerged. Russian Sergei Malinka reveals for the first time in about the cash incentive up for grabs, which he rejected because he knew nothing about her. The documentary lays bare for the first time the network of private surveillance undertaken on behalf of the McCanns as Portuguese police bungled their investigation. Spanish investigators Madeleine 3 were hired by after 3-year-old Maddie in Portugal's Praia da Luz in May 2007. Details of the bizarre offer are unveiled in episode 6 of the 8-part series by the American global streaming giant. Top detective Julian Peribanez speaks about his work with the Barcelona investigative team paid by the McCanns from the Public Find Fund, which stars including footballer David Beckham and Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling made donations to. They had been recommended to Maddie's parents by multi-millionaire businessman Brian Kennedy. Mr. Peribanez states, I started with €100,000 and I went to $500,000, something like that. Malinka said don't. A source close to the McCanns told The Sun online private investigators push the boundaries at times. They had one sole motive, and that was to do their utmost to find out what happened to Madeleine, as long as they operated within the law. The pal said that the McCanns would not condone anything that is illegal. Tycoon Mr. Kennedy was a major benefactor of the campaign and even got involved in his own secret searches to help find the abducted youngster. M3 were eager to come on board to find out who had snatched the child from her bed while her parents were dining with pals in a nearby tapas restaurant. The team went to Portugal at the time when Brit expat was wrongly being viewed as a suspect by Portuguese police. Sergei Malinka was interviewed by officers as business pal Mr. Murat had allegedly tried to call him on his mobile on the night Maddie went missing. Mr. Murat, who was found to have no involvement in Maddie's disappearance, told the Netflix program that despite phone records showing he had dialed the number, he had no recollection of the call and it could have been a pocket dial. Under Portuguese law, it is understood to be illegal to conduct private investigations in the country. Mr. Peribanez and Patrick Kennedy followed Mr. Malinka as he drove around Luz. Mr. Kennedy and x27's son Patrick told the program, we weren't allowed to do that. We needed the permission. Mr. Peribanez adds Patrick was a young kid at the time. We spent hours. Mr. Malinka confirmed he was followed, telling the documentary, my first experience of private surveillance was when I saw some cars in my rear view mirrors. I made a list of them. Patrick says, we were trying to find out where he was going, because it looked like he was trying to get somewhere in a rush. He has no regret for his actions, saying I didn't feel sorry for anybody. The little girl who had, Mr. Peribanez said at one point, his boss told me to call him and offer him money to talk about the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. Confirming the approach was made, Mr. Malinka reveals in this sort of situation there are two types of people, one with power and one without. I didn't have the power. Mr. Peribanez continues, I started with €100,000 and I went to $500,000, something like that. Malinka said don't. While Mr. Malinka was wrongly dragged into the botched police inquiry, someone firebombed his car when it was parked by his flat in Luz, and the Portuguese word fala, which means talk, was sprayed on the pavement. There is no suggestion in the documentary M3 had anything to do with that crime, but Mr. Malinka recalls the incident, saying this is the only time when it broke me, really hurt me. One missed phone call. Mr. Peribanez also admits, we put some trackers on Murat's car and they found them. Sometimes, it gives you more freedom to investigate than being a cop. After extensive surveillance, the investigators found nothing to link Mr. Murat or Mr. Malinka to Maddie's disappearance, and Mr. Peribanez tells the program they had nothing to do with it. Heart Dr. Gary, 50, and former GP Kate, 51, of Rothley Lakes refused to take part in the Netflix series The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann. The pair believe it could hamper the nearly 12-year search to find their daughter, as well as fuel conspiracy theories regarding her disappearance. Our journalists strive for accuracy, but on occasion we make mistakes. For further details,
raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.